across the board. But whether it's $10, $5, or $10 a month or more, we ask for your support. So if you have any specific questions, you can always come to us. And the PTSO is also working with the LSAT and the administrators here to redo the website to reflect our new Jackson Reed brand and also make it a little more user-friendly. So stand by for updates on that, and then we hope to have a website that easily gives you all the information you need about our school.
Thank you. We'll be up front if you need any questions.
Thank you. Just a couple of other things. If you are interested in participating in our athletic program, Nadira Ricks is the Assistant Athletic Director. You must be, to be eligible, you must be enrolled in person learning at Jackson Reed. You have to submit your paperwork, you have to maintain a certain GPA, you have to have your COVID proof to be able to participate in sports. If you need to know when a particular sport starts practice, you just contact Nadira Ricks and she'll be able to let you know those things. We also have our clubs and activities coordinator, Dion Clemens. We have a lot of clubs here at Jackson Reed. There are over 50 unique clubs, and the interesting thing about Jackson Reed is if 4 or 5 students get together and want to create a club, they find a teacher who is willing to sponsor the club, and they can create their own club. So we're not limited to just the 50. Students can start their own club if they come up with an idea, but we have a lot of different clubs that they will be able to choose from. And now I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Lane, who is one of the 11th grade counselors, for her to give you her message.
Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Ms. Lane. I'm one of the junior counselors. I work with students last name M through Z. And again, my co-counselor, Ms. Lagon, she'll be here soon. You guys will get a chance to meet her. But I do have the pleasure of working with all of our 11th grade families, and I'm happy to help everyone with any questions that you may have going into the new school year. Oh, before we get started, so just some background on me. I'm actually going into my 6th year here as a counselor at Jackson Reed. We've been looping with our students, so that means like our juniors, I've been with them since their 9th grade year. So previously, I had the pleasure of ushering the class of 2020, which was bittersweet for me, right? I had them since they were 10th grade, and then when we got to their senior year, we just had so much planned and so many things that we were going to do. We were going to take over the world together, but, things went how they went, but I'm thankful that they all were able to cross that finish line, right? And so that's what we're going to do together as well with your students for class of 2024. So, we're going into our junior year, but I know that some of our families and our students can feel somewhat anxious, maybe even excited, or both, because even though we're going into our junior year, some of us are already thinking about our senior year, already thinking about graduation, already thinking about what's next after that, already thinking about their post-secondary plans. And that's great, but we also don't want to overwhelm our students or you as well, right? So let's kind of take some time to, really focus in the moment and take everything one day at a time, because it's going to fly by, right? So we want to enjoy these last 2 years that we have with one another and how we can get to the next step successfully as possible. So, first we're going to select our courses, which that season started in the spring when we do our course registration, and it's actually ongoing up until the school year starts, right? We have schedule changes that are going to start the first couple of weeks. I know a lot of people are already anxious to know what do their schedules look like, what teachers they're going to have, what classes and all that good stuff. And so again, feel free to send in those emails. Schedule changes and everything will start the first 2 weeks of school. There's always that add drop period, so don't worry if things aren't looking how you hope that they would. Just bear with us. We're going to try to make things, we're going to hopefully have everything work out as best as possible for you and your student. You want to make sure that you're connected with your counselor. We would love to get to know you guys, not just when it's scheduling time. A lot of times we meet our students when it's that scheduling flood, and then after something else. And maybe your students are like that too, right? Until they need something and they wanna ask for something. But, you know, they're getting independent and they're young, you know, somewhat young adults, but of course still your babies, right? But we wanna make sure you connect them with your counselor. We wanna get to know you. You guys they need recommendations, maybe they had questions. Again, not just for scheduling season, make sure you're connected with your counselor because we're here to support you. We're here to advocate for them. We work well with our teachers and our staff as a team, our academies and everything. So make sure you connect with your teachers, okay? With your counselors. And Suite 105. Identify the academic resources in the building. So we have the College and Career Center. A lot of times throughout the school year, parents or students will look for support, whether it's for tutoring. We have Latin American Youth Center that's really great. We have the Math Lab that meets. I'm sure your math teacher will actually give you more details on what that calendar looks like for this school year when it comes to the Math Center. Let's see, what else? Writing lab, talk to your English teacher, what that looks like as things do change. But we have a few resources, a lot of resources in the building. Also, especially, meet with your teacher first, right? That's a good starting point, meeting with them during their office hours. We're all excited to have one big lunch this school year. We miss being together, all grade levels during lunch, which is STEP, and that's normally a time. Oh, everyone's not happy about that? Okay. Well, it's a good opportunity to, again, connect with all grade levels, but not only that, like I said, meeting with your teachers during their office hours, also after school. Again, you want to create a college board account. Sorry, it doesn't say Naviance up there, but you want to create a college board account as well as a Naviance account if you have not already done so. Your college board account is what you use to send out your standardized test scores, like your PSAT and SAT scores that you want to send out to schools at some point. Naviance, we're going to get to know your students as well as parents. You guys get to know Naviance very well. That's where we do recommendations for college. That's where we fill out our surveys. That helps us to get to know students as well. That's also a great resource for researching schools, adding schools that you may be interested in come your senior year. It's really a great tool, and again, it becomes your best friend throughout these next 2 years. So we're going to plan to take some tests in October. Juniors, I think, is it SAT or PSAT for you guys? No, it's SAT for you guys actually, junior year. Last year, sophomores, you guys did PSAT. So this upcoming fall, you'll be taking the SAT, and then again in the spring. Of course, befriend your teachers. Again, they are your first resource, right? You're in the classroom with them. They help, get to know them. They get to know you. So befriend your teachers because you're going to need them when it comes time for recommendations, whether it's for school, whether it's for work or internships. So make sure you get to know your teachers as well. Again, your junior year, just reiterating, creating an academic plan. So some of you guys may already have an idea for your post-secondary goals, whether it's going to school, whether it's travel abroad, whether it's working. You already have an idea of some things that you may want to do. And so with that being said, again, connect with your teachers, connect with your counselor, just so you can get an idea, do my classes align with my goals? How's my transcript looking? If you have any questions about that. So we want to sit down and talk about what your plan looks like. Join the extracurricular activities. Again, you have so much to offer here at Jackson Reed. So just coming to school, going to class, there's so many different opportunities to take advantage of and to connect with different entities and people in the building. This is something for the students, but of course you guys know as parents as well, monitoring your behavior, your social media accounts, right? So we just want to make sure we keep certain things in mind because again, it's not only just about what we do today, but we want to think about how those things affect down the line as well, right? Attending school daily, monitoring your academic performance through Aspen. So parents, you guys have login information, your students have login information, so making sure that you guys are checking your Aspen accounts to keep up to date with grades. If you have any concerns with maybe grades or something hasn't posted or updated just yet, feel free to reach out to your student's teacher just to kind of stay in contact with them about if you have any questions or even with your students. Because at this level, at the junior year level, your students have grown a sense of independence where they should be able to advocate for themselves and checking in on what's going on with their progress because they're the ones putting in the work, right? So you also want them to gain those tools and those tools so that they can be self-efficient for when they graduate and they're going away to school or they're working because you can't call up to their supervisor, right? If you have any questions. So we want to encourage them to be be their best advocate for themselves. Again, maintain communication with your teachers. So a lot of times, we have students that may, or just in general, sometimes students may wait till the end of a semester or the end of a term. Let's always kind of maintain that communication with teachers so there's no assumption on, your progress or what's going on. Again, we want to encourage our students to be their own self-advocate. Graduation requirements. So again, we're going into the third year, so some of you guys may already be familiar with the graduation requirements. Some of you may be transfer students from within the district or even outside of the district. So this is really helpful to know, and if you have any questions or concerns, please do not make any assumptions because we want to make sure that your student is on track for graduation. So feel free to reach out to your counselor if you have any questions. So there's going to be 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, 4 credits of social studies, 4 credits of science, 2 credits of world language, 2 credits when it comes to CTE, which is also college level career prep. So also health and PE, 1.5 credit, electives, actually should say 3 credits of general electives, and then art you're going to have half a credit, music half a credit. At some point we're going to sit down with your students in the beginning of the school year, towards the end of the school year when we're doing course registration to go over LOU, so you'll hear that a lot as well, which is the letter of understanding. So that is DCPS graduation requirements for your students. So this is really a general overview, but when you look at the LOU, it's a lot more specific, also on the transfer. So if you have any questions or at any point in time, you're just like, hey, I just want to copy, or I just want to know, the class that they're taking down, what is it going to look like for senior year? That's never an issue, because again, we all want to work together to be on the same page to make sure that your student is taking everything that they need to take so that there are no surprises when we get to the finish line, okay? Lastly, it's going to be 100 hours of community service, right? So, we want to make sure that our students are on track for community service. So that means we want to look out for community service opportunities in the weekly note. We also have links on the school's website as well. If you have any questions about whether your students' community service hours have not been updated, please reach out to your student's counselor, just so we can make sure that everything is updated accurately as it should be. Because you do need 100 hours of community service to graduate. Okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you, Ms. Lane. Those are some of the coming attractions for the juniors. SAT, as she already said, we will have an SAT in the fall, free for all of our students. And those are some of the other coming attractions that we will have for the juniors in the spring of 2023. Now, of course, as you know, Jackson Reed is known for its academies. We have a new academy director, Ms. McClure, and she will be speaking to you about academies.
Good evening. I am Regina McClure. I am brand new to Jackson Reed just this week, but I am not brand new to NAF and the academy model. The past 4 years, I've been working at Eastern High School, heading up their Health Science Academy, and then for 10 years before that, I was working at Coolidge as a teacher, doing a lot of work with college and career there. I love this work. I believe in this work. I've seen what this work can do. So I'm very excited to be here and to support your students this upcoming school year. Brandon Wicks is my colleague. He's not able to make it tonight. He's on dad duty. But please take a picture of both of our emails. The next couple slides are brief. I'm not going to be able to get into all the details and all the questions that you may have tonight. I want to respect all of your time. But I want to make sure your questions are answered. So please take a picture, and anything that I don't cover that you have questions about, please email me, and I will do my best to answer them. And if any questions go to Brandon, I can also volley them over to him as well. Want to acknowledge that in the world of academies, there are a lot of acronyms, there's a lot of new initiatives. It seems like every single year it can be really confusing. I know going through COVID, and there's just been so many changes. So those of you who have students in the academies already, we're really looking forward to this year of meeting with you and being really transparent about all the programming activities that we have. And those of you who are new to Jackson Reed, we're just excited for you to learn about the opportunities that we have here. Hopefully I'm going to go the right direction. Nope. All right, so I mentioned this acronym. So there's a lot more than two, but the two I want to highlight tonight is that we have 9 academies here at Jackson Reed. 7 of them are CTE academies. And what that means is they are supported by the Office of State Superintendent. There is funding, there's a pathway involved, there's different accountability around those pathways. And then 4 of them are NAF academies. That's an added layer of accountability, an added layer of metrics that the staff needs to be mindful of, and it really centers around a small learning community for students to have a program of study. Classes that build on top of each other, not one-off electives, but building to culminate in an internship and also a capstone project. I'm gonna keep doing this. So these are the academies that Brandon is overseeing this year. And Hospitality and Tourism is NAF. He's going to be working very hard to make finance and digital media and audio and video production NAF as well this upcoming school year. And then I'm over Simultech. So this includes engineering, computer science, and biomedical science. They are already NAF academies as of last year, so they're fresh and new in that way. So just want to note that there are 4 courses that build on top of one another. These are open to 9th and 10th graders because there are 4 courses and they have 4 years in high school. I know I'm talking to a class full of juniors, so if your student is not in Science Tech or one of the academies that they're interested, we highly discourage for juniors just because they would have to commit to taking 2 classes their junior year and 2 classes their senior year. It's a conversation you can have with your counselor if it's something that really is in line with what your student wants to do, and if you have space in the classes. So just want to be transparent about that. But it's part of a culture of building coursework that builds on top of each other to that culminating capstone course. And then we have some Jackson Reed specific academy. So JROTC is the CTE pathway as well. I'm sure you've heard of it before. But then AAA and WISP are for Jackson Reed students. No other high schools in DC offer the programming that they do. So a hallmark of the NAF academies are internships. You can see some of our partners up there. It's not an exhaustive list. Students have interned at other places as well. My favorite part of this whole aspect is getting students ready for the internships. They have to apply, they have to get their resume together, they have to interview. And so I love working with students during that process and watching them and monitoring them and supporting them during their internship as well. These internships are paid and they're during the summer. As of last spring, they started a new initiative with a new acronym called AIP, which is a school year-based internship that's available to CTE students. And so looking for our juniors and seniors who are in academies already, looking to this school year, we're really focused on enrichment and strong programming. So you can see some of the hallmarks that we're going to be rolling out, lots of field trips, lots of guest speakers that are brought into the class, but also like a lunch and learn series held during lunch or after school. And then we have college tours planned, or college fairs in the works. A lot of family engagement and wraparound. We don't want to wait to the end of the year to see where your students should be in the pathway. We want to be working with you along that way and making sure they're feeling supported in their academics. And just making sure there's regular communication, really accessible to make sure that they're supported. Our internship preparation, we have a lot of clubs that are related, so if you are a junior, you're not able to get into the academy, but you want to be involved in robotics or hackathon, things like that, we can try to accommodate into that opportunity. And that's it. I just want to say, those of you who are already in NAF, we're going to have NAF nights at the end of September, which is going to go like deep dive into all these things, how this works, and make sure we get all your questions answered. But if you don't want to wait till that long, please email me, and I will definitely respond and make sure we can get your questions answered.
Thank you. Now it's time for if anyone has any questions. Anyone? Yes.
Yeah, so Principal Bargeman, I just want to clarify, the first 2 days of school for our juniors, they are coming on Monday the 29th at noon, ideally with a negative COVID test that they take a picture of and upload, or whatever the process is going to be forthcoming. But the second day, they're also coming at noon, but that day is it a COVID related requirement, or it's just they're coming at noon because of, just to get people in easily?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. Yes, the staggered start is the question was, do upperclassmen come late on both days? Yes, for the first 2 days, our plan is for students to come at the staggered arrival time on both Monday and Tuesday. The rationale is because, as Mr. Bargeman explained with the schedule, students have an A day set of classes and then a different set of classes on that B day. So understanding that we want to get students also acclimated with the building, ideally those younger students first who are not familiar, we wanted to allow that opportunity at least for those 2 first class periods, at least for those first 2. And we also know that some students may be absent the first day, so that still gives us an opportunity to manage the test to return of our expected 2,200 students. So just given those 2-day arrival times. I'm going to come to this gentleman here, then here. Yes.
Hi. Lunch altogether, really? That seems a lot, and there weren't enough seats when it was staggered. So are you going to be, I'm glad they're redoing the floor, but what about the kids that have to sit on the floor for lunch? What about not enough food for the kids during the staggered time during lunch? Are there going to be efforts to make sure that there's enough food for an entire 2,200 kids?
Yes. Great point. So the gentleman asked about the time of the one lunch and the rationale for the one lunch. And that point was raised, and we spoke about this during the meet and greet, and I appreciate you coming back and flagging that concern. So as we had one lunch, that was something that Jackson Reed and I would say Wilson had while I was here, and it was something that the community really, really enjoyed. And when I say school community, I'm specifically talking about students, because as the principal and having to manage and make sure that it functions, I questioned it at first, and I questioned it upon my return. And I spoke to our students, and they felt the one lunch moving to 2 took away from the community aspect and the engagement and the camaraderie and the sense of school pride and school spirit. So that is one reason why one lunch was put back into the schedule. Additionally, the component around seating and space, we wanted to alleviate some of that overcrowding by allowing students to have lunch off campus. Additionally to that, it is not just the atrium that is open to students to eat lunch. A lot of our dedicated teachers go above and beyond and give up their technically duty-free lunch to allow students to eat lunch with them, to have clubs, to offer activities. And I haven't even talked about the opening of the football field or the stadium or the Rose Garden, where we also have seating outside. When I walk the building, my concern is the same for you, as you. I saw young people sitting on the floor, and I said, there's a table there, would you like to sit down? They said no. So we want to encourage them to sit on the tables and make sure that there is ample space, but they will have the opportunity, if they so choose, to sit at tables. And we have enough tables to lay down where a good percentage of the students can sit at a table if they choose, and if not, they're outside on the field or in the classrooms taking part in some club, sport, or activity.
And how about the amount of food?
I'm sorry, the amounts of food, yes, our partners Sodexo, we will have the lunches for them available. And again, one key component is making sure that they have signed up for that lunch. Students have the option also to bring lunch, but those who would like lunch, if they don't qualify for the free or reduced lunch, they're doing the $3 per meal. And Sodexo will base the amount of food on the projection of the students that we have. And we'll follow up with them to ensure that they do make sure that those meals are available.
So,
Ma'am.
two-part question, maybe I'll follow on that one and go back to the other one. Do you have a sense of the percentage of students that go off campus? Because that also, in the logic behind the community or students' perspectives, like, you kind of lose that anyway. So just how, I'm just trying to envision how you feed, but what's the percentage of people that actually eat in the cafeteria then?
Yeah, I don't know based off of, haven't seen it this year. I'll yield to Mr. Bargeman and what he saw prior.
Yes, we have about 600 to 700 students who will leave the building to eat off-campus lunch. You have to see the lunch to enjoy what we call it STEP, or student teacher enrichment period, but you have to see it to enjoy. A lot of people are eating up under the trees, they're sitting on the grass, we have furniture out there, they're playing on the football fields, throwing the ball, frisbees and stuff. So it's a real community event that happens every day at lunch.
How long is lunch period?
45 minutes.
Great, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can both of you,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
just follow on to the first question, which was, so for that second day of the staggered coming in at 12, do they need to be prepared to show their negative COVID test again?
Well, what we do with the COVID, when we see their test, we give them a sticker that they put on the back of their phone. And second day, usually they just show the sticker as they come into the school.
Great, thank you.
Ma'am?
I just wanted to ask when students would receive their schedules. Would it just be on the first day, or would that be something we'd have access to before in case there are any problems?
Well, students can log on to Aspen or Canvas, and they'll be able to see their schedules. They also will get a copy of their schedules on the very first day. As we come into staggered, we will have a setup for students to be able to receive their schedule during the night. So they will get a paper copy, and they also can view it online.
And when would it be available to view online?
Ms. Lane, when would that be available to view online? By the end of the week.
Yeah, if I can just clarify, related to the schedules, yes, they will be the end of this week. Yes. I want to clarify the schedules that are available online, and some of you may have already seen them or may have gotten the schedule at the end of last year. The reason we pass out and distribute schedules on the first day of school is because our counselors are working very hard right now in the moment on balancing class sizes. So there is a very strong possibility that the schedule that is posted and available in Aspen may not be the finalized schedule that your student will get on the first day. So I do just want to put that out there. And as Ms. Lane explained, there is a schedule change request period and process that we communicate and follow and is available for you. But the schedules, I just want to put that out there because I have seen before where folks will look at what's in Aspen and expect that to be the first day schedule, and/or students may bypass or disregard the paper schedule that we give out on the first day because they printed or have available a screenshot of Aspen from the summer, but that's not the class that they are currently enrolled in. So we just want to make sure that that's clear. We have about time for, I'll say, 2 more questions. And if I don't allow for you to have a question, or time doesn't permit here, we will remain back and you can ask that question. So I'll come here and we'll close with this question here in the front, and any others we will take afterwards, after we dismiss. Ma'am?
Hi, I'm one of the students here, and
Yes.
I just have a question in regards to makeup days for computers. It only said for 9th grade, but will other students in 10th to 12th grade be able to have makeup days to get computers?
Absolutely. I love it. It took a student to check on that. Thank you for catching that error. That was an oversight. The slide should have said makeup was on Saturday, and it will be for all grade levels. 9 through 12. And you will have an opportunity, and families, let me make this clear, you will have an opportunity for students to get their technology during the school year, after the first day of school, or when we start, I should say. We just wanted to manage and make sure that we can address as many of our students and families as is possible early for those of you that are available on those days. And we're trying to break it down in such a way where we can have different groups come in, but that Saturday is a makeup for all grades. The period of time is from 9 to 12. Thank you for pointing that out. Look forward to supporting you this school year. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, is that?
Just around the COVID vaccination
Mhm.
group. So if we submitted last year, do we need to then submit this year, or can we just upload again the form for the proof of vaccination having already occurred?
Yes, so the question was, can we upload our proof from the previous year for this current school year? Yes, you can use your, as long as the child has been vaccinated, that will qualify for this upcoming school year. So as we close, and I see a few more hands, and again, and the good thing to me is this piqued some interest in the conversation. I'm here to continue the engagement. We will stay up front, but I also wanted to allow, if we have individuals who would like to take a tour, if you can assemble in the lobby outside the auditorium for the optional tour, you can do so now, and we will remain up front to address any questions that you might have. Thank you so much for coming and joining us this evening. Everybody have a good night. Mr. Bargeman will be meeting families in the lobby for the tour.